All right, guys. The UEFA Champions League and Europa League draws came out today, and there's a lot of excitement and buzz in the air regarding the fixtures. Let's just quickly have a look at what the Champions League draw looks like. I think I'm going to put it on my screen. Mm, mm. All right. So here we have it: Man City versus Borussia Dortmund, FC Porto versus Chelsea. Pranay, excited about that. I think you got a good draw. You got a good draw. Although it's not to be taken lightly because
Of course, of course.
it is the team which knocked Juventus out. So there are no easy games, I believe. But out of all the games, Chelsea's probably got the easiest. Then there is FC Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint Germain, the final from last season. I think that's going to be a cracking fixture as well. And then we have Madrid versus Liverpool. I think Hitesh is trying to join us. Madrid versus Liverpool. Again, a repeat of the 2018 final, if I'm not wrong. Right? Uh, Welcome, Hitesh. Welcome. You're just getting started here.
Uh,
So, Hitesh, you're in Hyderabad, right? Awesome.
yes.
So, guys, let's have our, I think, Man City fan here, Soham. What do you feel about this fixture against Borussia?
It will be really tough to hold on to their attack, to be honest. But City's defense is also quite solid, and we're in for a good fixture, I think.
Yeah, I think we're in for a cracking fixture. Have these two sides met in the recent past? I believe
No, just a second.
I believe not, right? Yeah. And then we have FC Porto versus Chelsea. Pranay, your views on FC Porto versus Chelsea. Again, it is out of the three fixtures the most maybe low profile because we have uh, FC Porto in the this thing. But what do you feel about it?
I think I'm confident for this one, although I won't take, whenever we have this one team which is knocking the Giants out, they are usually determined and they go on a run. They reach the semifinals like Lyon did last season, then the young sides of Monaco and Ajax did last season. And maybe we could see the same with FC Porto, so that's why I will not take this fixture lightly. Having said that, Chelsea are looking really good right now, and Thomas Tuchel said it after the Atletico game that the teams are fearing Chelsea and they don't want to play Chelsea in the quarterfinals. Uh, I don't know how other clubs feel about Chelsea, but I feel confident about this fixture.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
Hmm.
what I've seen of Chelsea since Tuchel is coming, I think it's well documented that they're not as good to watch, maybe, but they do look more solid. They do look more difficult to break down now, and they look like one of those teams that can squeeze results out, maybe. And I think under Tuchel now the interesting thing is Atletico Madrid and I think maybe Manchester United are the two big fixtures that they've played since Tuchel has come, right? They, any other big matches against them?
Yeah, I mean, Spurs were there, Liverpool were there. I'm not sure if
Liverpool.
you are counting them as big fixtures.
Yeah, definitely, definitely,
We would, yeah.
definitely. Yeah. So I mean, they do look like they could be the dark horses, of the Champions League.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about this game could be the both the legs can be a nil-nil draws. That's how both the teams play. They like to defend really good, and
Yeah, I said the same thing about the Atletico game. And actually,
yeah,
I'm not getting much carried away with the Atletico victory because I don't really think Atletico turned up, especially in the
no,
first leg.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were really poor. The two legs, I think they had their worst performances this season. Second game also, I thought they would put up a performance, but no, they
Only,
were disappointing.
only Joao Felix was looking threatening. Luis Suarez had a really off day. Then
Yeah, he
Simeone
has off
made
days in UCLs.
Yeah, hasn't scored in the UCL.
Yeah.
Also,
Only, Felix was trying. Only Felix was the player with who seemed to make things happen. No one else, even Llorente, or on the other side, it was, I guess, who was it? On the other side,
Carrasco.
Carrasco. Yeah,
Yes.
popular opinion seems to be that I think Felix needs to maybe make a move because the style of play
like doing anything.
suiting him and his talents.
I think he made his move too early from Benfica to Atletico.
He's a good defender, though. He's not that bad. He's really highly rated. Even City wanted to buy him last summer, but Atletico asked, I guess, 400 million.
We're talking about Felix, so I don't think he's a defender.
Oh. Felix, he needs to play in a team like City, where he can have this ball, he can use his natural talent. Atletico,
His stats will be much more higher than.
yeah, he's wasting his talent for playing for Diego Simeone.
Exactly. So I think Chelsea are favorites in this fixture. We should be
but
into so Chelsea, the winners of FC Porto and Chelsea, I believe, meet Man City and Borussia. Is it like that?
no.
They meet Real
They
Madrid
play
and Liverpool.
Real or Liverpool.
Let's have a look. It's okay. Bayern, PSG. All right. Okay, that makes it very interesting. So I think Madrid, Liverpool, Porto, and Chelsea will be looking at a serious chance of
Making it to the final. Yeah,
getting into the final because I don't think any of those teams are.
perfect. But
Yes.
yeah, they are on the way to perfect. At least Chelsea and Madrid, we can say.
Right.
Would be great, wouldn't it? Madrid versus Chelsea. Suppose Hazard makes his return.
And he's shit again. And he gets injured again on the pitch.
No, man, I think his injury is a bit too serious. I mean, the doctor said that he might not play football again.
No, but that's if the surgery is conducted,
Yeah,
or they said 6 to 8 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
that's really sad, man.
So guys,
Yeah.
FC Bayern versus Paris Saint-Germain, the quarterfinal 3. I know. I think most of you are going to say Bayern Munich are technically are, but I think under Pochettino, I do feel that PSG does have a chance. Obviously, he's not.
Pochettino has done a good job there, even though in such less time.
Yeah, it hasn't been long for him there, long enough for him to actually impose his. I mean, if we look at his career, which started from Espanyol and then Southampton, then Tottenham, all of his teams they started peaking after, at least 2 seasons.
2-3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't say it's a Pochettino team yet, but I'm sure he has enough in him to make this tie very, very, very interesting and right down to the wire. Right. So
Plus, it's a two-legged tie, so
it's a two-legged tie.
not a straightaway.
There's
knockout.
always a chance.
Always.
There's always a chance.
Yeah. So any views on that, guys? Hitesh, Miran, welcome to the chat.
Sorry. I was on a call. I am very sorry. I missed out.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry.
discussing the.
It is one of those two ties which is like really hard to predict. Anything can happen. If Neymar turns up, if Mbappe turns up, there is a chance that PSG might go through.
First,
And
we
there's a
need to
chance-
see if Neymar plays.
Yeah, injuries is a very big factor in this game.
Yeah. And again, like PSG need to play as a team instead of relying on Mbappe or Neymar. They need to play as a team.
The last time PSG faced Bayern in the final, they had a lot of chances, but
Yeah, they didn't take any.
That's the way Bayern play. I mean, they play such a high line. They defend so narrow. So
Yeah.
if you play on the break, Lyon also had a few chances against them. And this season they have been shipping goals. Their defense hasn't been that great. So if PSG remains solid at the back, they can nick a goal or two, and then they may have a chance.
And with Bayern, the thing is, if you score 3, they can score 4. So like you have to outscore them.
Right.
They are vulnerable at the back, but I still think Bayern will go through just because they are in that flow. They have the confidence, and PSG in recent times have been like shaky. They are so like one game they are really good, and another game they are like really bad. I think they again lost to someone in Liga last match week.
Yeah, the match Di Maria got substituted off, no? Due to the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a home game.
yeah. But I think
But-
this time around, I'm backing PSG to go through. I'm backing PSG for getting their revenge over Bayern. I don't know. Bayern do not seem the same team which they were the last season. Their winning streaks are absolutely impressive. Numbers are great, but I think I'm backing PSG this time around. I don't know. They seem a little solid at the back. Yeah, PSG lost to Nantes also.
When will the quarterfinal fixtures be?
6th and
It's
7th April.
It's in the weekend, first week of April and second week. I think Europa is
Okay.
8th and 15th. I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
if-
so 6th and
it's
7th
29th
is
and 5th, I guess.
So
13th,
it's before the national break, right?
no, it's
No,
after
No,
the
no,
international-
after the
Okay.
national break.
now
So-
this week I think it's a national break or next week. Is
next
it?
week. Next
Yeah,
week.
I
Next
guess.
week.
After this weekend's FA Cup games.
The
Correct.
national break also plays a like crucial role because like
Yeah.
after the national break, Liverpool got shattered. They had so many injuries.
Injuries
So
are a very
Yeah.
big concern of the
Yeah.
national.
Yeah, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has really said, almost pleaded for Bruno Fernandes to not play.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
still joining his national team. I don't think Bruno only plays for Man United. I think he has to represent his country also. That's bad. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not resting Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. Rashford picked up another knock this game. He's just tiring both of them out. I think both of them need a rest for like a couple of games, at
I
least two.
think Rashford is suffering from a long-term injury,
Yeah, back injury.
and they're not able to give him rest. It's back or his shoulder, and I think the two injuries he's carrying, and been able to take rest because now if he decides to have an operation or a surgery,
He'll miss Euros.
it's the end of the season and the Euros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should he carry on playing, then risk missing out on Euros, or carry on playing in balance it out and try and play Euros, then get his surgery and miss the start of next season. I think that's a huge issue
Yes.
for United and Rashford and England as well, actually. So we'll see how that pans out, guys. Liverpool versus Madrid. We have a Liverpool fan, Miran, and we have from hiding behind 4 logos. So I'm going to assume he's a Madrid fan, at least for this conversation.
Also, he has a Liverpool.
Right. So Miran, how are you feeling, man? Not an easy picture, but
I mean, the draw was good, not that bad.
not that bad. Huh? So you happy beating Real Madrid?
Yeah, I am happy because Madrid are not in that form, I guess.
Right.
I mean, except
Not
their
like Liverpool is in
midfield, I
great
don't
form either.
think.
Not like Liverpool is having a great time either, right? So
Yeah.
So
But the last two games were
what
great
about you, man?
for Liverpool. Yeah.
Siddhant, you're trying to like put on your camera for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You can switch it on and share your views, man. Go over it.
Yeah. It's not that bad. The draw isn't that bad. Second, if not Porto, Real Madrid would have been my second option for the. So we'll see.
Yeah, in the semis, it will be either Porto or Chelsea.
But guys, the thing with Real Madrid is they have pedigree in Europe. You never know. I mean, one thing they know how to play is
Champions League.
so.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting, but I do also believe Liverpool also has that pedigree in Europe. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think by the time I think in the next 2 weeks when the match comes, maybe both the teams would have picked up a little bit of form after the international break, and let's see. That is going to be very interesting.
I think this is a very even Stevens game. It's a well balanced game.
Yeah.
They're
It
not
is
doing-
like really hard to predict. You can't predict that game. Anything can happen.
Not like last time that Real Madrid were the favorites of the tie. I mean, last finals when Real Madrid just swept
Yeah,
them with the result. I think this time it will be a very interesting game. And I think Real Madrid
I
will
just
go.
don't want Ramos to do anything to Salah or anybody.
You can never
Will
trust
do
him.
shit. Yeah, he will do shit. He's
Liverpool
born to do
fans
that.
should be motivated with the fact that the final is in Ataturk Stadium in
Istanbul.
Istanbul.
Also in 2005, he faced Chelsea. I mean, I thought that he faced Chelsea, and also this time, I guess it will happen. He will face Chelsea in the semi.
In the mid 2000s, Liverpool and Chelsea, I think for 4 or 5 consecutive seasons, they met in the Champions League knockout stages. There was that Luis Garcia goal. There was
That was in 2005, no? Semi-finals. Luis Garcia. Yeah.
There was a 4-4 draw with at Stamford Bridge, I think. So a lot of interesting matches could be coming up.
That is not going to happen. Like a 4-4 draw is not possible this time.
You never know
They
with
have
Liverpool.
Tuchel, man.
You never know with Liverpool's defense. You cannot trust them. And
I can't see Chelsea scoring 4 anyway.
We have Nat Phillips.
And not even like conceding 4 goals. Chelsea conceding 4 goals would be like horrendous. Like or considering the defensive record they have.
The way I know. I get it, but you never know. I mean,
see, at some point, this honeymoon period will go away and they'll start conceding goals.
That's what I wanted to ask you, like Pranay. Like once the honeymoon period is over, and like again a period like Frank Lampard's bad period happens with Tuchel, then what? Like Tuchel out then? Suppose at the start of the next season, after 5, 6, 7 games, you are like in 8th, 9th position. Then what?
I hope Abramovich is not listening to you. He'll like this. Sack him. It depends. I mean, first I'm not even thinking about the next season right now. I'm focusing on this one only.
But Pranay, how did you feel when Lampard was sacked? I mean, were you happy with the call, or were you with the call, or were you with him getting till May or the end of the season? Or you wanted
Actually, I felt bad for Lampard personally because results weren't going in his favor, and because of his stature, he didn't deserve to be sacked. But looking at what Tuchel has done now, I think it's clear that a change was needed. And I really hope to see Lampard in future again, with a little more experience.
I don't think he will come back. If he has a good season somewhere else.
It's a revolving door at Chelsea. You never know.
I think even Jose
he was kind of embarrassed in front of everyone. He had a bad run, but
I'm not sure.
Twice, right? No, I mean once.
Jose was back to 2 stints. No? He sacked twice.
I think first time it was a mutual agreement, and second time he was sacked.
Second time, though, you guys were, I think, in the 13th or 14th position.
No,
you guys were
lower than that. We were 16th, 17th.
Exactly.
No, Mourinho, I remember both the times was sacked. Back in 2007 and 8 also.
Okay.
I mean, they said it as mutual agreement, but I think the results showed
same as with Frank Lampard, he said he wasn't sacked, but I guess
Lampard, though, I mean, he was sacked. It was put out in the media that way, and there were reports circulating even before he was sacked. That was, I think, the most meaning part.
Because of him not being able to enter the training session for the last time or the dressing room and things like that. I think Pranay would know.
So I don't know. I mean, there was some report that he was told when he was coming to the training session that he's not going to be the manager anymore, and he did not even get to say goodbye to the team.
I think it happened.
That is sad,
Sudden. It happened pretty quickly.
Yeah. Like you should treat your legends a little better. Blues.
Yeah.
I think Real Madrid and Chelsea should.
Yeah, you should learn something from us.
Chelsea's legends go to other clubs, Lampard went to City, Cech has went to Arsenal. But that doesn't lower their status for me personally.
Like for you, it is, but on a bigger scale, what Madrid does and what Chelsea does, I think it is a little bit disheartening to see. As a fan, Like,
Actually, at Chelsea, it's not that bad. I mean, it's better than Real Madrid at least.
yeah.
But I think
At Real,
it will come to an end. It's just like Ole Gunnar in the starting. He was having
Exactly.
but
you know,
you know, Tuchel is a better manager than Solskjaer.
any
That's
Hands
for
day,
sure.
down, man. I
Yeah,
mean, even United fans will agree to that.
Easily.
any day, any day. I mean, you
yeah.
can't
And you know, but the only problem I see with Chelsea and Tuchel is like his formation. I think is really based on bringing out the best in those German players, the two new players, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. And because of that, you know, other players are suffering. You know, Pulisic is not a attacking midfielder. He's more of a winger who likes to cut in. Callum Hudson-Odoi, he had a good start, but last couple of games he has been out of the team. And other players also, I
Ziyech.
think Ziyech also, yeah. Giroud is now back on the bench. That's where I guess the problem lies in Chelsea. They have collected a good amount of really good youngsters, but they are wasting their talent.
But you know,
Yeah.
with Chelsea, I think with Tuchel's tactics, he focuses more on wing backs. I think
Yeah, that's why, and, you know, that's why Alonso is back in team. Else
Exactly.
Alonso was freezed out.
I think he
Even
bought
to
him.
the
Hudson-Odoi did a very good job at right wing back. I think he should not have been removed. He got
I don't know.
substituted.
Ben Chilwell is now out of the team.
Hmm.
Under Frank Lampard, he was like really playing all the time, like he was only playing on the left wing back. And
I think
on the right side, now Reece James is playing. Now that puts, you know, Emerson is a good left back. Emerson is a good left. You look at the Chelsea bench and you only see young players who are wasting their. I don't mean it intentionally, but you know, as a football fan, it hurts to see Pulisic only playing, I guess, 120 minutes under Thomas Tuchel. Pulisic was supposed to be Captain America, but this season he has only scored, I guess, 1 or 2 goals. That is not.
He's hardly played.
Yeah,
But guys,
that's
what
disheartening.
reflect when, you know, 2 consecutive managers, you know, have decided to bench him in the sense that decided not to start him or make him a part of the regular 11.
The excuse Thomas Tuchel gave was really stupid. He said at Dortmund, I used him as a substitute, and I know how good he is as a substitute for the last 20-30 minutes of the game. Like, who gives that reason?
actually
Like, I should.
the thing with Pulisic is that last season he was kind of the main man, you know, because the
Yeah.
team was relying on him. This season it's not like that, and obviously the new signings right now the priority is to get the best out of them. Maybe that's why the likes of Pulisic and Ziyech are getting sidelined.
I mean,
But you know, last season,
Ziyech is also the new signing.
Yeah, but I think
he's old. He's 28. That's why. Nothing.
No, I think Kai Havertz and Timo Werner were like Abramovich signings rather than Lampard signings. I don't know. Like
Just
how Holland.
Just like Donny van de Beek being Woodward signing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
same.
No, I think
You know,
Tuchel press conference told that Ziyech is a good player, although he scored the goal, but he's not getting into the plans. He needs to adapt to Tuchel's game plan. Because
Yeah, I saw one footage, you know.
Tuchel is a good player, but the thing is, he's not getting along with the game plan. That's what matters end of the day. Although
I
Ziyech
saw one footage, you know, of the
You
Leeds
know,
game.
but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, of the Leeds game, I saw footage. I mean, Kai Havertz has the ball near the byline towards the goal, and Ziyech is standing on the edge of the penalty area. He should be making a run near the 6-yard box to get
No,
the.
but you know, that's not his game. His
know
game
that's
is
not his
making
game.
He's a
Crossfield.
playmaker.
That's where
who plays
Tuchel is
on the right.
That's what
Yeah,
Tuchel needs to understand.
And
His crossfield balls are
that
one
is
of
the problem with, you know, he's a Lampard signing. We all know he's a Lampard signing because they signed him, I guess in January, February, they signed him. And he directly fitted into his game plan. You know, Pulisic on the left who cuts inside, and he wanted Timo Werner to play up front, and then what is his name? The wizard, the Moroccan wizard. Like he will be whipping in the balls. That was Frank Lampard's game plan, and the reason why Pulisic last season flourished because Lampard was playing him to his strengths. He was playing him on the left side, and he gave him the freedom to roam around, to come inside. That's why he was performing at his peak. And this season, the focus has shifted on Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. That's where the problem lies.
Yeah, but that also was in the later half after the pandemic. I mean, when the restart happened, only then Pulisic got game time. In the first half of the season, he really didn't get any game time because
Actually, Pulisic was injured, I think, before the lockdown, and he would have missed the season. But the lockdown changed that.
he was more like a second substitute player, like what Tuchel does right now.
But in the later part of the season, he scored, I guess, 9 goals and 3 of 6 or 7 assists. I guess that means he's a real quality player. You can't deny that he doesn't have quality, or
I think because
he easily gets into. If you play 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, he easily gets into this team ahead of Timo Werner. On the left side, he easily gets into this team, and I guess it is kind of the manager's fault that he's not playing.
But I think he came in when Sarri was there, right?
No. Pulisic came after Sarri.
I think they signed him when Sarri.
They signed him because they knew they were getting the transfer ban, so they completed the deal before that.
Yeah.
I think Pranay is getting uncomfortable with all these Chelsea discussions.
No, I'm not uncomfortable. I can do this all day, but we need to come back to the topic.
Back to the draw. Before we move on to the UEFA draw, predictions for the UEFA draw, UEFA Champions League. The last four teams. Who's it going to be?
I think I can sense a shock from the Man City Dortmund game. I really think Dortmund may surprise a few.
Wow, that's a big prediction.
I really want them to surprise.
For me, the surprise result of the draw could be PSG knocking Bayern out. Let's see if that happens.
Is that a surprise? I mean, PSG
knocking Bayern.
I think PSG would be easy. I think PSG is a much better side than Bayern this season, if I have to talk about it. Because Bayern last season.
No, Siddhant. Please don't say that.
Bayern. No. Like seriously, PSG are
no, you
on paper they do look better, but
they almost didn't make it out of the group stage, by the way.
Yeah.
But you played against
and they are really unpredictable. Under Pochettino, they have been for one game against Barca, they were really good, and all the plaudits were lauding them. And then what they do in Liga, they lose matches. So Bayern have been kind of weak at the back, but you can't rule them out. They just thrashed Lazio 6, I guess 6-2.
So I'm saying if PSG wins, will you call it a surprise?
Yes.
Yeah. Against Bayern, yes. After
the last season, the thrashing they did after that, any team beating them would be a surprise, I think.
Last season, this is this season. It's a different season, different game.
Perhaps Man City beating them won't be, but still.
One exception, but
That's how they wanted Man City versus Bayern.
We will get if both teams win, they are in semis.
It's on Dortmund.
I think I'm with Pranay on that Dortmund prediction. I'm with Pranay on that because I also sense a Dortmund surprise coming up. I think Sancho is going to come back to England after I think so many years. I think he has to show something, and also I also sense a PSG win. I also sense PSG making it to the semis. Two things for me.
You can write down your 4 teams on the chat box as I've done.
Now, we can say it one by one. So that's it recorded.
All right, guys. So Dortmund, Chelsea, Bayern, Real Madrid for Pranay. I'll go with the Dortmund, Chelsea, PSG, Liverpool.
I'll go with Man City, then Bayern, Porto, and then I guess it's going to be Real. I think the Real will make it if Benzema turns. He turns up usually if Benzema plays.
Okay,
Oh,
Lots of you going
everyone
for
is like
PSG win.
awesome.
everyone is going for Dortmund.
Speaking
Like
Yeah, Dortmund.
you don't guys believe in Pep Guardiola.
No, I think he will go in.
So we want
in
we don't
case
want
that
them to
happens,
win.
in case that result happens, everybody wants to be like, "Hey, I told you so. I told you so."
Okay.
So, guys,
We don't want City to win.
speaking of the Europa League now, yeah, did anybody watch the game last night? Milan United.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
Sad.
very close.
Another Italian team out of the
Yeah, Nikhil,
European
what do you make
champions.
of this year? I mean, such a staunch follower of Serie A. What do you make of the tie between Milan United? Where did it go?
Milan were, I guess they were like really unlucky. That's what I can say here, because first of all they were really tired, and second, injuries are like curse them. They half of the team. The half of the team that they were playing was their substitutes. Maita doesn't usually play. Benacer plays with what is his name? Frank Kessie. And Kalulu was playing on the right wing. That's where Calabria plays. He's going to have an operation, I guess. Romagnoli was out on the left side for the first match. Theo Hernandez was out. And, it was quite sad to see. But I think Man United deserved it. First match, I guess Milan deserved some more. I think the Kessie handball was like quite. I thought it was accidental, and yeah, that's what I can say. And it's a huge issue, seven, six, I guess 6 or 7 Italian teams crashing out of the European competitions. It is like quite difficult to digest. Yeah, that's what I can say. We are like a step or two behind. Our game plans really focus on Serie A. Most of the teams, leaving Atalanta, I guess other teams, including Juventus, they don't have that European mentality till now. Atalanta are the only team that, that can threaten teams in Europe. Yeah.
They signed Cristiano for Europe, right? They signed Cristiano for Europe.
You sign Cristiano and you give him the midfield of Bentancur, Ramsey, and growing McKennie. That's not gonna win you UCLs. That's not gonna get you to even quarters.
So
and even though I blame the Porto game on Cristiano because he was a burden for the entire team for the whole 120 minutes, but I don't blame him over the 3 years that we haven't reached semis or we haven't even reached quarters. It's not Cristiano's fault. He has scored, I guess, 97, 95 or 96 goals. I guess it is 98 now in 120, around 100 games. That's what you get from Cristiano. You need a good team around him. He cannot carry the whole team. Even Leo Messi cannot carry the whole team.
So you think Cristiano is like a wrong signing, maybe? Probably for someone who
Cristiano, Cristiano wasn't the wrong sign. He wasn't the wrong signing, but the decisions made by the board and the club as a whole were wrong. You need to have a really good team. At a certain point of time, we had Marquisio, we had Pogba, we had Arturo Vidal, and we had Andrea Pirlo playing in midfield. And you compare that midfield to today's midfield, it is a shame.
I think
I don't think anywhere than anybody else than Arthur deserves to play in that midfield.
I personally
and now
think sacking Allegri was a wrong decision.
No, it was a time that we suddenly realized that we don't want to play this football anymore, and we gave one season to Massimiliano Allegri. So it was like it was like you change something. You change your game plan. You change your style of play. You play a little bit more attacking. But he couldn't do that with the players he had. Then you brought in Sari. You sack him after one season because you also couldn't do the same. And then you have Andrea Pirlo, who is trying to do, but he is not able to do at this moment of time. So, you know, sacking Allegri was a right decision, but even like after 3 seasons, you have sacked two managers. If you sack Andrea Pirlo, I guess it is a mistake because he needs time. He hasn't had that pre-season. It is his first season in professional managerial career. And if you are getting knocked out in round of 16 consecutive seasons, then it is more of a team fault than it is a manager's fault. That's what I will want to say. And if yeah, Anieli, if you are listening to this, do something, man. Like we are getting shittier and shittier every season.
Hey, I
think
put it
appointing-
on YouTube. I don't know if he watches our channel.
Yeah.
But I
You know,
personally think appointing
you can't
Andrea Pirlo, going with the trend of going with ex-players as your managers, I think that costed Juve somewhere or the other. I mean, nobody, not
Right.
everybody can be another Zidane. I mean, coming in and
You
winning
know,
two
but
EPL in a row.
you know, you are somewhere right. You know, you should give him time. You should bring in a manager with plenty of experience at a big club like Juventus. But you know, who could have be appointed? We didn't have any real managers at that time. If we could
I
go
think
for Pochettino,
Poch was in the market
yeah,
for a job,
but you
and
know,
Tuchel was there.
his game
was sacked.
requires time to build. His game requires time to build, and
Anything requires, I mean, I don't think you can get instant results out of the team. When you're getting that, I think there will be a downfall which will come bigger than anything.
yeah, but you know, the things work at Juventus in a different way. Um,
Yeah.
You have that pressure of winning a trophy every season, and I think this season, if we lose Scudetto, it will be a really good thing for us. We'll get a kick in our asses, and the management will realize that we need to move away from Cristiano and build the team around Chiesa, build the team around Kulusevski. These are the build the team around Locatelli. Buy him, man. Like he is the player that you need in midfield. You have Arthur who can pass the ball. You have Locatelli who can control the game. That's where the problem lies. You need to build the midfield. You need to move away from Cristiano and his gigantic salary. You need to give space and time for players like Chiesa to develop.
So, do you want to release Cristiano by the end of the season?
I personally would like to release him and go with like Morata up top or bring in, and then I would like to bring in Houssem Aouar and Locatelli, but I don't think it is possible considering the finances and the money Aouar would cost. Then I personally would like at least bring in Locatelli for this season and then make a deal possible between you and Lyon for Houssem Aouar for the next season, or like bring him on loan and then buy him next season. That's first rejuvenate your midfield and then look forward and change your formation, man. Change your formation. What the hell are you playing with 3-5?
United could do with these leftovers, Ronaldo and Ziyech. We were talking about Ziyech also not doing good. If Ziyech were not to work out at Chelsea, I mean, United could do with someone like Ziyech. We don't have a right winger and also a number 9.
But I think
I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm just shooting in
the blind. No. I heard rumors that if Ziyech leaves, he will probably go to AC Milan or Atletico Madrid. That's where his preferred destinations, I guess.
The thing is, once you don't make it in, let's say EPL, we're talking about, for one of the big teams, it's unlikely that another big team will pick you up. It's usually
no, but it's not necessary. Like Kevin De Bruyne and then Salah. These are like perfect examples. If you don't make it,
Kevin De Bruyne he was one of the top performers for like 2 seasons. Salah also he went. I mean, yeah, Liverpool took a gamble at Salah. I cannot argue with your point at Salah, but KDB I don't really think was.
No, I think he's talking about before when they were at Chelsea.
When they were at Chelsea, they really flopped.
Yeah.
But
and
there's a
then
difference.
they
I
went
think
somewhere else,
those
picked up their
players
careers,
went to Chelsea
and
as
came back.
youngsters, and we are talking about Ziyech, who was
Directly coming, no?
who's a high-profile signing. So I think that's the big distinction there.
Yeah, and he's old, I guess. He's old.
For
He's
example,
like,
when Lukaku it didn't work out at United,
yeah.
I don't think there was any club in for him in the Premier League.
Inter still paid 70 million for him.
Yeah, I think a good example of this is Alexis Sanchez. I mean, United
Yeah.
are desperately trying to get rid of him,
Yeah.
and I think they have. Have
Got
they sold
rid.
him
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
He's
sold him for
redundant.
free. No, they sold him for free.
Yeah.
But I think if Ziyech goes somewhere else, he will be a top player, not like a really top, but he still be a good player,
No,
and he
Ziyech
can
ain't
play.
going nowhere.
For
You know,
United,
even I heard like Pulisic will go, can go if he wants to,
I think
if he
Liverpool
doesn't
was
give the.
monitoring Pulisic.
Yeah, they are monitoring Pulisic.
okay, guys, getting back to the draw very quickly, and then we'll move on. United Europa League draw. United is facing Granada, and Slavia Praha is facing Arsenal. These are the two main ones. Arsenal, obviously, if you see Slavia Praha, they did, I think, knock out Celtic as well.
No, Rangers.
Rangers
Rangers.
and Celtic.
Before that,
No. Rangers, I guess someone else knocked out Rangers, no?
No,
No,
Rangers.
Slavia Praha was
Praha
knocked
only.
out Rangers.
Yeah, that you know that horrific red card.
on the face for the keeper.
You
Keeper
on the
Root,
face,
right?
his whole face tear off.
Yeah, Kemar Root.
Gerrard's Rangers, huh?
So
Yeah.
there is a possibility of an
yes.
all English final in Europa League. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
considering that Arsenal and United are not very, haven't been very reliable in Europe over the past few years, it might not happen.
I
But
think Man United will still reach semi-finals and then get knocked out by someone.
yeah, that's quite a possibility.
Imagine United versus Arsenal in the Europa League, Liverpool versus Chelsea in the Champions League, the original big four of the Premier League in European finals.
Liverpool versus Chelsea wouldn't happen.
Oh
They-
yeah,
they'll-
I forgot.
semis.
I
Yeah.
forgot.
I think
And last time the all English finals happened, I think the Liverpool versus Tottenham was the worst final of all time. So boring to watch. Yeah,
I thought Tottenham really played well in that final. I thought they were.
the match was you have those matches, you watch those matches, and then you regret why you watched them. That was kind of the match, at least for me.
Then you probably didn't watch the 2003 Champions League final between
At that time, I was 1 year old.
Juventus and AC Milan. My God, I was.
I was not even born.
I was 1 year old. Okay.
I can't even describe what happened in that game.
I also wanted to talk about Tottenham crashing out.
Yes.
Like,
guys,
what do you guys think of it?
I think. Difficult to say. They completely switched off after 1-0. I think up till about then, they looked like they were, in control enough that they could come back. But after 1-0, they completely lost the plot. And I think we have the manager to blame as obviously the players are the ones who.
I think it is a part of manager. Like it is the role of manager. Like we should blame the manager also, but I think at a certain point of time,
and the
manager cannot do the things in the games. Manager can scream at you from the sidelines. Manager can tell you at halftime, and in the press conference also, Jose said I don't know what the name of the player is who scored the hat trick, but he said that I told them before preparing for the game that look out for this guy, don't switch off, don't consider this game as won already. And after a point of time, you can't really blame a manager because it are the players. Players are playing on the pitch for 120 minutes and not the manager. A manager can do everything manager can do the talking, but he can't do he can't play the match. I
No,
think it is more of
that's obviously it's the players who are the protagonists, definitely. But in terms of tactics, how to approach the game, how to eke results out, how to strategize, all these
yeah
they lie on the manager. And the
that yeah
important things is if you saw the game, the motivation levels of the Tottenham players look worrying. That is something.
because they were thinking the game is won. You know, even after the managers, yeah, I can blame Jose for his tactics. He really likes to uh, like crunch the results out. He doesn't want to play attacking football. That's where his fault is. But more than that, it was the players' fault who thought the game is easy and it is won. And I would really blame the players for it. Uh, you know, as a manager, Jose, he wasn't the right choice for Tottenham. He like again had a really good honeymoon period, and then they went off. But this result is more on players, I guess. We can blame Jose, that is fine, but more on players, less on Jose.
But
But if you
talking
watch
about tactics here, I don't think Jose was setting up the team for a defensive display because he had Bale on the pitch, he had Mora, he had Kane, he went with an attacking lineup. I don't think he was there to defend. I think the
But
game was
again,
there to be won. The keeper made a very good save from Kane's header when Gareth Bale played a beautiful ball into the box. That's where they picked up their game from, and it's a real shock. I don't really think we can blame Jose entirely.
yeah,
It's the players'
that's
fault
what
as
I'm
well.
saying.
Yeah.
No, you can't blame the manager entirely. I'm
Yeah.
suggesting
But
that.
the harsh reality of football is when such results happen, you immediately point the finger at the manager.
Yeah.
That's going with the trend. Like after the Porto loss, everyone was pointing fingers at Ronaldo and Andrea Pirlo. And then suddenly he scores. Everyone was like, "We will never see the best of Ronaldo again. He is done at the top stage." And then suddenly next match he scores a hat trick, and then again are like applauding him. That is the reality of football and football pundits.
I will give you
I
an
think
example, the
that is
best example of, sorry, Apur. I'll give you the best example of how players get away with this kind of things. If you remember the 15-16 season when Chelsea were defending champions, you know how terrible they
yeah.
were at the start. And
Hmm.
even fans recognized this. They had the banners, Fabregas, Diego Costa, and Hazard are rats because they were not performing. And as an owner of the club, you cannot sack 11 players, right? It's easier to sack a manager. And that's what happened with Mourinho. So,
But if you've seen the press conference after the game, Hugo Lloris had said that there's like a I don't know his exact words, but it's something like a squad crisis because the playing 11, I'd say 13 players are actually playing, and the rest of the squad are not getting game time. They're not even turning up for the training. So there's a discipline issue again in Tottenham. So I think that is also the reason that there is no competition other than the 13 players for the playing 11. So maybe they're not putting so much in the games. That could also be the reason because it's not that Tottenham are a bad team. If you look at the front actually Eric Lamela 4 and Gareth Bale 5. So they have a really good attack, but if they fail to score against a team like a Croatian team, then it's all about the intent of the players more than the manager.
Yeah.
Also, you bring up the interview. I think Hugo Lloris also spoke about the dressing room atmosphere. So that was something which was very shocking to come out with during an interview after you just lost. You just bottled a game. So I
that
think he's just
No,
trying
no.
to.
As I guess as a captain, he did the right thing. If you even after like this shocking result, you praise your team, you praise your manager, then the like the whole squad would be like
you
they wouldn't think it's such a big
don't
thing.
have to praise them, but you also don't have to put them under the bus.
Exactly.
And
Exactly my point.
you're actively doing one of the things it
No,
means.
he didn't say some like even he didn't say that like the players are not turning up for. He just bashed the intent of the team. The will. fighting will of the team. That's what he said.
He was
I watched
exactly.
him.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I watched the entire interview. He just bashed his players.
he bashed
Like
the
every
entire team. I mean, that's fine. That's what he said was right. But what I'm saying is like, okay, like 20 minutes ago we were discussing, okay, better manager than Solskjaer, and Solskjaer is a better manager than so and so. This is what it comes down to. Why we talk about, okay, why we don't say, okay, United has a better squad than Chelsea, or Chelsea has a better squad than United. We don't speak about that. We speak about better manager than who. And why we speak about it is because of results like this. So when some result like this happens, uh, I mean, for sure, the first thing you have to look at is the manager. I mean, if the players are coming out and they took it lightly, or the manager is coming out and saying they took it lightly, then you have to see and maybe ask the question, what is your role there if your players are taking this lightly, right? So,
in the problem with Mourinho is, he's like one of those old school managers, like who deals with things really strongly. And these players are like new players. Like if you even say something like a little bad to them, they take it seriously. They take it
I also
personally. That
the problem with Mourinho in the era is that it's not a good fit. It's not a
yeah,
not a bad. He's not a good manager, and he doesn't tactically. He's
he,
one of the best, and he's proven that.
yeah, he is not a man manager.
But in the modern game, with such sensitive players that you have, it's very difficult to manage. Every player is a multi-millionaire. Every player has an opinion of his own.
Yeah,
Has an agent, has social media and all these things. I think in that context, it's very difficult for Mourinho to. It's like saying, okay, if you go back and see managers like Brian Clough or Arrigo Sacchi, and there is, or Ines Michel, there is no guarantee they will succeed today because the players are very right. So
yeah.
I guess that's the usual debate, guys. I think we'll end it here. It's been an hour of fantastic conversation with you guys, discussing the Champions League and Europa League draw. Obviously, we're all looking forward to the fixtures coming up in a couple of weeks. And then we have some fixtures this weekend as well. FA Cup, we have La Liga, we have Serie A. So looking forward to all those games. Keep in touch on the app. Let's keep talking. I know some of you have been busy, like Hitesh, but yeah, keep the conversations going on the app, guys. That is what brings us here. Looking forward to interacting with you, all of you. Anything you guys want to put out there before we?
Let's plan a watch along very soon. Anytime you guys are comfortable, any match which is doable.
Hey, we did by the way.
Man City and Man United, na, was the last watch along.
Yes, we did.
The only watch
Let's
along.
let's not do a Man City watch along this time.
Yes.
Let's do something more interesting.
What about
Like we
Leicester
are not all
and
Man City fans here. Let's do something more neutral.
What about Leicester and Man United? If you guys are up for it, FA Cup. If it's not too boring for you guys, because
Leicester United should be a good game. Should be a knockout.
Yeah. Counter attacking. Both
What
teams are
time is
counter
it?
attacking.
Let's float the idea on the app and see how many because
That's what I'm saying. Like on the app, like for the last few days, like people really have been like active, more and more responses, more people interacting. But when it comes to watch alongs or like these weekly meetups, only few turn up. What's the matter there?
that's just how it's been. And the other thing, I think we need to kind of actively start interacting with everyone.
I think we need to present every watch along like a really,
Yeah, one
like
side
it is a really big thing.
share the link and all. Maybe try to create a buzz in the chat.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things like in a community. That's what I've noticed. A quiet one.
Is it today the match?
Sunday. It's Sunday 10:30.
Yeah, Sunday.
Then we can do that perfectly.
So we'll float the idea on the app and let's see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Again, for me as a community manager, like before I do these kind of things, I want to personally make sure that there are as many people as not just. So that is one big criteria for me before we do an event. So let's see how it pans out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to interacting with you.
Sure. See you guys.
I'll put this
Okay, guys.
on YouTube as well very soon. So again,
Good talk. Yeah. Chalo. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye. Ciao.